All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Jennings, and I'm with the Department of Energy. And this afternoon, we'd like to welcome you to the Domestic Manufacturing Conversion Grants for Electrified Vehicle. It's a funding opportunity webinar, opportunity announcement webinar hosted by the Department of Energy's Office of Manufacturing Energy Supply Chains, or MESC. Please note that this event is being recorded and may be made available for viewing in the next few weeks. Before we start, I would like to explain how this event will be managed. As a participant, your video and audio are automatically turned off when you joined. If you have difficulties related to technology, for example, if you cannot hear a speaker or see the presentation slides, we recommend you exit the event and re-enter. The public chat and Q&A have been disabled. Closed captions are available for this event. If you'd like to view the caption, please enable them using the closed captions icon at the bottom left of your WebEx screen. Please advance the slides. I will quickly walk you through our agenda. At the start of today's webinar, we will hear an introduction, background, and overview on funding opportunity DE FOA 0003106, or the Domestic Manufacturing Conversion Grants. Next, we will discuss the anticipated scope and details of the full applications requested by the active funding opportunity announcement. Then we will discuss the timeline and milestones of the active FOA. We will close in instructions in the FAQ submission process. Please advance the slide. Today's workshop will be presented by Stephen Boyd. Stephen is the Acting Deputy Director for MESC 20, which oversees projects impacting battery and critical material supply chains. Please take it away, Steve.
Great. Hi, everyone, and thank you, Stephanie, for the introduction. I hope you all can see me okay. I'll be walking through these slides and do my best to present some information here that's hopefully helpful to applicants for the full application phase that we're currently in for this FOA. And so as a start, just a couple slides here to introduce the FOA. This FOA originates from the Inflation Reduction Act, Section 50143, which provides grants for the domestic production of those electrified vehicle types listed there: hybrid, plug-in electric hybrid, plug-in electric drive, and hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. This also is in accordance with Section 712 of EPAC 2005. There is $2 billion in competitive government grant funding available, which does require 50% cost share, as well as vehicle assembly or component manufacturers converting existing facilities has to be part of the program as detailed. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So the Domestic Conversion Grants Funding Opportunity Announcement, as we mentioned, is for applicants converting an existing facility to support electrified vehicle manufacturing with that cost share requirement. Eligible projects are specific to conversion of a facility in whole or in part for vehicle manufacturing or component manufacturing for the given vehicle types. Priority is said to be given for the refurbishment and retooling of manufacturing facilities that have recently ceased operation or will cease operation in the near future. And the receipt of a discouragement notification from the concept paper phase does not prohibit an organization from submitting a full application. So long as you submitted a concept paper, you can submit a full application, regardless of whether you received an encourage or discourage notification. All right, next slide. This slide is a bit of a cartoon of the entire process and a bit of the calendar and schedule for this program, starting with a request for information that we released broadly from DOE for this program. Then following this past June, we released a notice of intent for DOE releasing this funding opportunity, which subsequently was released at the end of August in 2023. We provided a similar webinar for potential applicants on October 5th that was detailing some of the information that we were asking for in the concept paper phase. and the concept paper due date was November 1st of 2023. We're holding this webinar today for those applicants submitting a full application, and the application due date is this January the 23rd. And we'll be working through those full applications this spring, anticipating selection announcements later in the spring. And then following the announcements, we will proceed with award negotiation over this summer 2024. Certainly, these future dates and timelines are subject to change, and there's a link there for the webinars associated with this program otherwise. Okay, next slide. This is a brief overview of the technical topics that are in this funding opportunity area, and we're really just trying to show a bit of a view of how we're thinking about structuring the individual projects that would support this program across these three topic areas, which are divided by the anticipated award sizes. And so the first one on the far left there is the largest, with a federal share maximum of 500 million. And that would be approximately 2 to 4 awards for larger projects. And the center, area 2, with a maximum of 250 million federal share, slightly smaller projects, but also a larger number, anticipated 3 to 5. And then on the right, smaller project sizes limited to 100 million federal, but again, even more projects supporting that area. There's, again, more details available in the FOA. I'll keep saying that. And you'll see some of the additional details in terms of the aims of this program, and including retaining good, high quality, high paying jobs, retaining and strengthening collective bargaining agreements, supporting the just transition of workers and communities in the transition to electrified vehicles, expanding the U.S. Competitiveness and footprint in vehicle and component manufacturing, decreasing U.S. dependence on competition for the same areas, and generally providing the supply chains and supporting the build out of domestic capabilities in these areas. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So for the FOA process here, there's a couple things we're going to cover. At first here, again, encouraging folks to reference the FOA for these types of details. These are some of the submission requirements that we put on all the submissions, and as well as noting the concept paper notification that you will have received there as well. We'll go to the next slide. There is additional information available on the S3 Exchange. The Exchange is the sort of web-based portal that we use for this funding opportunity announcement and the process. And so just wanted to turn folks there for both information as well as supporting details there. We do encourage folks to please note the submission deadline, and please allow sufficient time for your submissions there. All right, let's go to the next slide. Again, there are application forms and instructions available on the Exchange, and there's a screenshot there in terms of how you would go about submitting your full proposal in Exchange. And again, noting that we will not accept late submissions from the date, and noting the file size there, and please, again, allow sufficient time to complete your submission in the Infrastructure Exchange. All right, let's proceed to the next slide. And here we're going to step through a few of the different sections that are in the full application. You'll see there's quite a list here in terms of the different FOA sections and submissions and attachments that go with this opportunity. There are 3 different ones highlighted in this list that we're going to dive a bit deeper on because those really are both significant for this funding opportunity, as well as there are some minor differences for some of these sections versus perhaps other DOE funding opportunities that you may be familiar with. And so we just want to cover those in a bit more detail and pull out some highlights. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So first up, there's the Job Quality and Just Transition Plan. As mentioned, this is sort of one of the highlights for this funding opportunity under the umbrella of supporting the transition to electrified vehicles. And so we just want to note that this plan should be including the summary of commitments on job quality that you can demonstrate to attract these the workforce as well as construction workforce involved in the project. And alternatively, applicants can describe some of the other commitments that they may have as part of the project. Let's go to the next slide. This covers at a bit of a higher level some of the priorities that we have for the Job Quality and Just Transition Plan, decreasing the use of temporary and misclassified workers, as well as workplace injuries and safety violations, and then increasing a number of the other priorities that may be applicable for these projects, including labor agreements, hiring and the retention of skilled workers, increasing wages and benefits, increasing worker organizing and collective bargaining, increasing registered apprentice participation, and employer investments in education and training. Okay, and one more slide on this one. Again, there are a number of resources to help folks for the Job Quality and Just Transition Plan, and these are all areas that we want to highlight in terms of detailed commitments that the project can provide to support these overall initiatives that are going to be important in this transition to getting workers that can support vehicle electrification. Okay, let's go to the next slide, and we'll pivot to labor and the community benefits plan. This is intended to set forth the applicant's approach to ensuring federal investments advance these 3 goals: community and labor engagement, advancing DEIA, and contributing to the Justice 40 initiative overall. The below sections include some more detail on this. There is a template that folks can reference, and I believe the template is also referred to in the Q&A that goes along with the SFOA or the FAQ document. Applicants are strongly encouraged to use this template, and we ask that folks address all the elements in their template and submission. Let's go to the next slide here. A similar slide as we had before in terms of some priorities here: decreasing project risks as well as health and safety risks, and then increasing participation of affected workers, increasing opportunities for two-way communication, increasing self-enforcement and legally enforceable community benefits agreements, increasing accountability for workers and communities, increasing comprehensive collective bargaining agreements, and increasing benefits and the broadly shared prosperity that we know can come from these significant investments in communities. Okay, on the next slide, we mentioned commitments previously, and again here, the commitments that we're looking for in these types of engagement plans, and as well as the supporting details to show that that those are high quality commitments. Let's go to the next slide for labor and community benefits. Again, we're looking to decrease workplace discrimination and harassment, as well as decrease the use of checks for energy jobs, increasing recruitment, advancement, and retention, increasing quality free apprenticeship programs for workers, increasing supportive services that can otherwise support and enable the workforce, increasing partnerships with MSIs and HBCUs, increasing participation of tribal entities, and increasing funding to these other small enterprises that we know are really can be instrumental in supporting the projects. Okay, next slide, please. Again, detailed commitments are what really serve to put muscle behind the types of plans that we're looking for in these projects. And so these are some examples of detailed commitments that can be used to reduce barriers to employment and provide advancement opportunities for underrepresented individuals through this type of work. Okay, next slide, please. And again, some other priorities here for the Justice 40 initiative: decreasing energy burden in disadvantaged communities, decreasing environmental exposure and burdens for disadvantaged communities, increasing the parity in the clean energy technology transition, increasing access to low-cost capital in those disadvantaged communities, increasing clean energy enterprise creation and contracting, increasing clean energy jobs, the jobs pipeline and jobs training, increasing energy resiliency and energy democracy in disadvantaged communities. Okay, and one final slide here for the Labor and Community Benefits Plan. These plans should include milestones as part of their incorporation into the overall project plan. And so we'll be looking for these types of specific commitments that can ensure accountability from the project. There is a page limit for these plans of 6 pages. There's a helpful link there for some other resources that we think would help assist folks in pulling together these plans. Okay. Finally, one more slide. The other section we mentioned there as part of the FOA is the at-risk facility justification. This is unique for this funding opportunity. An applicant should submit this attachment for consideration if you'd like the proposed project for the existing facility to be considered as one that has recently ceased operation or will cease operation in the near future. And so we're looking for applicants to provide that justification of why they think they meet that definition. Okay, and that's a separate attachment there. All right, let's go to the next slide. Thank you. So I'm going to quickly summarize the full application review information. These are the scoring criteria that will be used by reviewers to score this application. So there's a pie chart graphic there across these 6 different criteria, which we'll go through in the following slides here. So let's continue with criteria 1. Criteria 1 is the technology merit innovation and supply chain impact criteria. This focuses on the following factors of supply chain security and coverage, the feasibility of the project and the technical impact of the project, workforce and operational impacts from the project, and the retention of skilled workforce as part of the overall technical project plan. Okay, let's go to the next slide for criteria 2, the financial and commercial market viability of the project. This is criteria involves the consideration of the business viability, market viability, other factors that can affect project viability, regional impacts, financial availability for the project, and the reasonableness of the budget submitted with the project. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Criteria 3 is the criteria that, if we could go to the criteria 3 slide, and this is for the project work plan management team and partners that go along with the project. I'm not going to read through each of these, but certainly there's a detailed list here of the types of details we're looking for to support the overall work plan team and partners involved in the project. Next slide. For criteria 4 and 5. Criteria 4 is focused on the project cost share and evaluating those factors seen there that would support the project cost share. Criteria 5 is the job quality and just transition plan that we detailed earlier. And so you'll see some of those same same elements are part of the criteria that will be evaluated under the Job Quality and Just Transition Plan. And then last year, criteria 6, the Labor and Community Benefits Plan. Again, you'll see both labor and community and labor engagement as a major criteria with sub-criteria there for evaluation, as well as the DEIA subcategory and the Justice 40 Initiative subcategory there, all looking at the criteria and initiatives and really some of those commitments and details that we asked for and detailed previously. And again, definitely refer folks to the supporting materials we have linked that can be helpful in really detailing the types of things that that we're looking for in projects and responses for this program. Okay, next slide as we wrap up here. This is a little bit of a look across this process. And so quickly here, we did receive concept papers as we showed in the schedule at the beginning, and we've reviewed those and responded. We're currently in that sort of second phase there of full applications, where we'll be looking to receive those here January 23rd. And from there, we'll proceed to that third phase where we will, or excuse me, still in the second phase, we will review those full applications. And then in the third phase, we will take those reviews into consideration as part of federal consensus boards for each area, each topic area. And we'll present those for selection official consideration and briefings. And then we'll eventually getting to selections later this spring in 2024. And so you'll see there's a note that this is also detailed in the FOA document itself. Okay, so in wrapping up this webinar, I just again want to point folks with questions to the FOA inbox there. That's the email address you can use. We've gotten a number of questions and provided a number of answers as well. And so we appreciate folks using that portal, as it gives us a good way to consistently respond and provide accurate answers on our part. And you can also reference the frequently asked questions document at that link there in the infrastructure exchange for this FOA, which will provide those, and we hope that's helpful for everyone involved here. Okay, so with that, I really thank everyone for attending, and we hope this information was helpful. We're really looking forward to getting all your responses. We know there is a lot of work on your part right now in pulling together all of the documentation and doing the authoring, and we're excited to get all that in the door so we can start our work here on our side, and looking forward to project announcements in the spring. So thank you all for again connecting with us in the Manufacturing and Energy Supply Chain office, and hope you have a happy Friday.